In the NBA, you have to pretend that Bronny's an NBA player because otherwise you'll upset the king. And remember, he is a 6'2 guard that's a non-point guard. I've never seen that existing in the current NBA. And go back 20 years. He is 1 for 16 in the NBA from the floor, 0 for 7 on threes. He's not an NBA player. He was not a great high school player. He was a good high school player. He wasn't a good college player. He was a college player. And he's not an NBA player. And he may be a great kid. I'm sure he is. LeBron's a nice guy. I've met him. Can we stop pretending on this?
I just looked it up. G-League, top scorers, points per game. I went through 50, and there's no Bronny James in there. He had 140-point game. Other games were 1. So now you do the math, and it's not going to be in the top 50. I don't even know who is this. Bryce McGowan, Elijah Harkles, Trey Alexander, DJ Davidson. Never heard of these kids. But they're dropping 30 a night in G League. Why is Bronny sitting on the bench? And this is the thing with Stephen A.
There's an unspoken rule in every NBA locker room, and players learn it the moment they arrive. Roster spots are sacred. There are only 15 on each team, and every one of them represents hundreds of players who never made it. Guys who ran themselves into the ground in Summer League, bounced between two-way contracts, survived 10-day deals, played overseas, and sat through endless workouts just hoping for one real chance. That's why when someone holds a roster spot without fully earning the trust of the coaching staff, resentment doesn't stay quiet. It builds, it simmers, and eventually, everyone feels it. That's exactly where the Los Angeles Lakers find themselves right now with Bronny James. On paper, Bronny is an NBA player. He's on a guaranteed contract. He wears purple and gold. He's on the bench every night. But when the Lakers actually needed help, when Luka Doncic and Gabe Vincent were out, when Austin Reeves was limited and the backcourt was stretched thin while the game still mattered, Bronny never got the call. Instead, J.J. Redick made a decision that spoke louder than any press conference ever could. He started Nick Smith Jr.
Bronny James, he's 7 for 28 in 4 preseason games from the field. He's 2 for 13, I believe, from three-point range. He's got 8 assists and 8 turnovers. He's moving into year 2. This guy is not an NBA player.
Let that sink in for a second. Nick Smith Jr., a player waived by Charlotte before his rookie deal even played out. A guard with rough numbers, questionable defense, and no clear long-term role in the league. The Lakers brought him in quietly on a two-way deal. No hype, no headlines. And when it came time to make a real decision, in a real NBA moment, they trusted him over Bronny James.
Last night came in, 3 turnovers, 0 for 5, looked terrified, nervous, and the Sixers, you can't fool players, went right after him. This continues to be an unserious story.
This wasn't about Nick Smith Jr. being special. It was about Bronny not being trusted, and that difference is everything. The Lakers didn't just bench Bronny that night. They sent a message without ever saying a word. When the Suns were in control and the game was already out of reach, that's when Bronny finally checked in. 9 minutes left. Outcome decided. Garbage time. Message received, and it keeps happening. Same pattern. Same result. If the game is close, Bronny doesn't play. If the game matters, Bronny doesn't play. If anything is on the line, Bronny doesn't play. That's not development. That's containment. This isn't about one bad night or one tough matchup. It's a trend, and it's getting harder to defend every week. Bronny hasn't logged more than 10 meaningful NBA minutes since early November. That's not normal for a player who's supposedly being developed. Even with injuries piling up in the Lakers' backcourt, even when the team needed energy, defense, or basic playmaking, J.J. Redick never once looked Bronny's way. Not once. And that says it all. NBA coaches will play guys they trust, even when they struggle. They'll live with mistakes. They'll let players fight through rough stretches. What they won't do is put someone on the floor who they believe hurts their chances to win. Right now, the Lakers are quietly sending the message. They believe Bronny James fits that category. And that brings up the uncomfortable question nobody wants to ask out loud. Is Bronny taking up a roster spot that could actually help this team? Because there are guards all over the league who would kill for those minutes. Real bench players, guys who defend, space the floor, move without the ball, and know exactly who they are. The kind of players playoff teams lean on when March and April hit. Those players don't get grace periods. They don't get unlimited patience. And they definitely don't get guaranteed contracts because of a famous last name. And that reality hangs over the situation whether anyone wants to admit it or not. In the NBA, players are judged strictly on production and impact, and Bronny hasn't reached that bar. Not even close, but that's where the quiet tension starts to build. Not just among fans, but inside locker rooms across the league. Players notice everything. They notice when someone is being shielded. They notice when opportunities are handed out instead of earned. They notice when a coaching staff goes out of its way to avoid putting a player on the floor, even when basic basketball logic says he deserved a real look. When the Lakers needed a jolt against Phoenix, J.J. Redick searched everywhere, except the end of his bench. He ran Nick Smith Jr., he stitched together awkward lineups. He piled more responsibility on Austin Reeves. He did everything to dodge playing Bronny until the game was already decided. That's not coincidence. That's not rotation management. That's straight-up avoidance. And the numbers don't save him either. Through 15 games, Bronny is averaging under 2 points per night, minimal assists, and almost no defensive impact. Most of that production comes in mop-up minutes against second-unit players when the opponent is already checked out mentally. These aren't high-pressure reps. These aren't meaningful opportunities. These aren't minutes against real rotation players or playoff-level competition. These are low-stakes moments where players are just trying to run out the clock. And even there, Bronny hasn't stood out. That's the part people don't want to confront, that if Bronny were dominating garbage time, flying around on defense, hitting open shots, forcing turnovers, the conversation would flip instantly. Coaches always reward energy. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that cuts through the noise and gives you the real story behind basketball's biggest moments. In a world full of hot takes and manufactured drama, sometimes you just need someone to tell you what really happened. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.